Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this Euromet virtual symposium. It's wonderful to see so many of you here already bright and early on a Tuesday morning. So my name's Melissa, I'm Director of Communications at Catch22, and we're so pleased and excited to be hosting this conference and welcome delegates from across Europe. So it's my job this morning just to give a really quick overview of what to expect from the conference and go over some basic housekeeping rules. So I'm not going to take too long before we crack on. So over the next 3 days, we'll be looking at the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on vulnerable young people. And each day has a slightly different emphasis. So today we'll be looking at education and employability, tomorrow at mental health and wellbeing, and on Thursday at youth justice and online harms. So I really hope you feel enthused and inspired by what you hear, and crucially that you're able to share your experiences and interact with colleagues. And you may be joining just for a couple of sessions throughout the 3 days, or you might be with us for every day for the next 3 days, but whichever way you choose to interact, I really hope you get a lot out of the conference. We have some tremendous speakers and workshop hosts. Hopefully you've all had a look at the programme and you can pick and choose what you want to hop into. But obviously a lot of the success of this is going to rest on how well you kind of interact with speakers and others. So some quick housekeeping rules. Obviously, all of you that have logged on have managed to find your way to the event, which is great, and the first thing that obviously needs to happen. But if at any point you find yourself lost in this virtual world, you can head back to the reception area, which is at the top left of your screen, and there's a short tutorial on there which tells you a bit about the platform, and you can also see the schedule for the day, so that's regularly updated in case of any changes, and you can see what's coming up over the next couple of hours. You will also see on the left hand side of your screen that the current session will show as live. So if you're logged in and you want to know what's happening right at this moment, you'll see the live icon. You click on that and you can head to that location to listen into the session. If you've got any technical difficulties throughout the event, then our events team at Fuse Events, who've been helping us run this, will be on hand, and you can directly message them as Euromet technical team or Fuse Events in the event chat. So again, the event chat is on the right hand side, and you can message them directly and they will be able to help you. Okay, a couple of things about when you're listening to either a keynote speaker or a panel discussion, or if you're in a workshop. We're really keen, as I said at the beginning, for interaction. So please let us know that you're there, that you're watching. Add in any comments into the chat through the event. You can use the Q&A if you want to ask questions. We'd really love to hear from you, so please make use of that function if you can. Also, don't forget that you can create a hop-in profile. So again, top right of your screen, you can just put a few details about yourself. And that just really helps if you're in a session with colleagues from different countries or different organizations, and they can see who you are, and you may want to pick up with them either during or after the session. So I would really encourage you to update your profiles. Also wanted to say, if you do have some downtime, and I don't want everyone obviously to be glued to their screens for the full 3 days, but we've built in quite a lot of time for breaks and things like that. So if you do have some time where you are on your computer, really encourage you to visit the Expo booths. And again, if you look on the left hand side of your screen, you should see a little tab that says Expo booths. And if you have a look at that, in there, you'll be able to view presentations and information from a range of services and organizations who are involved and presenting at the conference. You can leave a note in those booths if you're interested in finding out more information. So really encourage you to have a look at that as well. I also wanted to say that some of the sessions throughout the day are recorded, and we will be sending details after the event about how you can access those recordings and presentations. So look out for an email shortly afterwards to take a look at that. And before I finish, I just want to give a really huge thank you to Sarah and all the team at Fuse Events, and also Missing Link on the tech side, who have worked really closely with my colleague Jane Richards, who from Catch22 has been planning this event and organising everyone, and obviously now sort of producing it. And Fuse, for those interested, are a social enterprise event management company, and we've had the pleasure of working with them at Catch22 on a range of events in previous years. And so really grateful for them for all their hard work. Okay, I think that's more than enough for me for this morning. I'm really delighted now to welcome to the screen Chris Wright, who is Chief Executive of Catch-22, and also Jan Erik Josefsson, who is President of the Euromet Alliance, and they now are going to formally open the symposium. So over to you, Chris and Jan Erik.
Thank you, Melissa. Bonjour, mes amis, et bienvenue à Euromet. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Euromet Symposium. This is a gathering of colleagues from across Europe. The Euromet Alliance is a group of like-minded organisations working with young people in a range of settings. It has been going for over 30 years now, and Catch-22 in our former guise of Reina, we're one of the founding members of Euromet. So it's a great privilege to be hosting this event. In ordinary circumstances, we would have run this as a live event. It was planned to be in London last year, but for obvious reasons, that hasn't been possible. And so we decided to move it online. I attended my first Euromet symposium in Sweden in 2006. And my last one in Mettray, France, a couple of years ago. And I've always learned something from the events, a sharing of ideas and best practice. And obviously this gathering is going to be different because it is online, but nonetheless, I trust it will create an environment for learning and celebrating what works and the work of our respective organisations and indeed others who've come to join us over the next few days. But just building on Melissa's comments and thanks, before we formally start, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Fuse, who've organised this on our behalf. And they've been working really hard to ensure that the event runs smoothly. Indeed, we had a little incident just before we started this morning. I couldn't even access the platform. So great thanks to Sarah for being so calm and navigating me through that. And I'd also like to thank all the speakers and the workshop hosts who will be helping over the next few days. And special thanks to Missing Link, who've been assisting with the technology platform.
Sure.
Also, as Melissa said, Catch-22's colleague, who has been
Right.
driving this conference and organising it over the last few months, and without her we wouldn't be here today. She's put together a fantastic programme and worked closely with the hosts, translators, facilitators to pull everything together. So let me tell you a little bit about the conference itself. We've decided that you'd probably expect this, that the focus of a conference is really going to be on the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on vulnerable young people. And as Melissa said, we've divided it into a number of themes. And the plan is to share ideas and approaches, never so important in the context of the last 12 months, where we've faced a global challenge, unlike one most of us have faced in our lifetimes. We've got a variety of content, from keynote speakers to panel discussions, 45-minute workshops in the morning and afternoon, where you'll hear from practitioners and be able to interact, ask questions, and hopefully take on board ideas that will help you in your day-to-day work. Please make use of the chat function, engage with the process as best you can. And Melissa also mentioned the booths. And whilst I appreciate you don't want to be fixed to your screen all day, please do take the opportunity to pop into any of the booths you think may be of interest to you and take a look at the slides and the videos. So here are some of the daily highlights. Today, the focus, as Melissa said, is going to be on education and employability. And we're really fortunate to have our keynote speaker this morning, Sam Olsen, the CEO of Movement to Work, who will be setting out the challenges that young people have faced when it comes to the job market. And what's the role of business in trying to create the conditions which allow young people to move into employment. And we've got a panel discussion in the afternoon with 3 young people who've been supported by a variety of Catch-22 programs to help them into work or training. And some fantastic workshops from colleagues talking about, amongst other things, digitalizing education, supporting young immigrants into work, social pedagogy, and adapting employability provision during a pandemic. So I really hope today can be an enlightening and engaging day. Then tomorrow, as Melissa said, we're going to focus on mental health and well-being. And we're going to be hearing from Dr. Alexandra Burton from University College London about the impact of COVID-19 on the mental health and well-being of young people, following which there'll be a panel discussion with psychologists, researchers, and those working directly with young people on which groups have been most affected and how we can support them moving forward. And again, some fascinating workshops on topics, including on supporting young people leaving care, early intervention programs, peer support, and resilience circles. And then on Thursday, we move to the subject of youth justice and online harms. On the final day, we'll hear from Dr. Faith Gordon on her latest research on online harms and the impact on young people's behaviours offline. And we'll also be hearing from Luke Billingham on a public health approach to youth violence. And our workshops on the final day feature sessions on online harms, gangs prevention, intervention and exit, and child exploitation. So we hope we've built a really interesting programme. We're really excited to be hosting it for you, and it's a pleasure to have you all with us, albeit virtually. So I wish you a wonderful few days, and I'm now going to hand over to my friend and colleague and the president of the Euromet Alliance, Jan-Erik Josefsson. Jan-Erik.
Thank you, Chris. I hope you can hear me now, loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
Good. Well, dear colleagues of the Euromet family, as Chris just mentioned, times are really strange. We have had a constant dialogue with Chris and his organization Catch-22 because this symposium was supposed to be held last year, and it has been postponed until now because of very well-known reasons. Given the circumstances, we thought that the alternative to have another postponement was not that good. So we tried, and we encouraged Catch-22 to arrange this historical symposium for us. Namely, that this is the first time in Euromet's history that we have an online or a virtual symposium. But indeed, the program looks great, and I am sure that you will all have a very good benefit from the different speakers and the discussions during these 3 days. As you all know, we have had when we last met everyone in Tours in France in 2019. We had discussions during that board meeting about things to be improved within our organization. One of the things I hope that you have recognized, and that is the website. I encourage you to go to our website and see the changes that have been made. And thanks you all who have contributed to this. But this is only the framework. Now we need you all to fill the website with interesting things. Descriptions of your different organizations and other things that you would wish to share, experiences and so. This afternoon we will also have the annual board meeting. There will be some changes in the executive board due to some retirement. I myself will retire, and there will be a proposal for some new persons in the executive board. Another thing to keep our organization more vivid is to have actions, not only the annual symposiums, but also things happening between the symposiums. The website I mentioned is one thing that could keep us together between the symposiums. But I also think that there could be other ways to have a more vivid organization. And for that reason, we will this afternoon at the board meeting have a discussion about creating professional groups where, for instance, psychologists, educators, teachers, governors, and other persons within our organization can get together virtually for discussions of themes that they have found interesting for the that specific category of staff. We are already planning the next symposium in Belgium in 2022. The planning has already started, and hopefully we can meet each other more live in Belgium next year. But now, according to, as I mentioned, the program looks very interesting, and I'm looking forward to participate in all the different activities that is possible. So I wish you all welcome to this symposium in 2021, and I hope that you will enjoy the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. I think we're now going to, we're a little bit ahead of schedule, and I'm not sure if we're going to go back to Melissa or we're going to wait for the, oh, here's, excellent, she's saving me from waffling on.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Jan Erik, for that introduction. That was great. Yes, you're right, Chris. We're running slightly ahead of schedule, but I think it's now is as good a time as any to have a quick comfort break for people. I know we've got more people joining, and I can see the numbers kind of going up now. So our first keynote speaker is going to start at 9:45. It's Sam Olsen, who is Chief Executive of Movement to Work, and she's going to be talking about young people, employability, and the COVID-19 pandemic, and the role of business in that. So I will leave you all now for 20 minutes to have a break, and we will be back here on the main stage at 9:45. See you all soon.